Hello everyone. This is my very brief presentation on my project, which is analyzing AI in the public sector, mapping stakeholders in Seattle, Washington. So basically, the premise of my research here was to look at which governmental which groups and stakeholders are involved in AI regulation, research, and deployment in the public sector. So for this project, I looked at over 160 public record documents. I classified their relevancy to AI, and then I mapped the stakeholders inside each of the documents. I mapped the type of stakeholder that they were and which document they were a part of. And then I took this data into Python, and I wrote a script to basically create a edge for each possible pair of stakeholders within a single document to create an edge. So basically, within this document, Seattle Information Technology, Seattle IT, had an edge created with all of these other stakeholders in that same document. So then I brought that into Gephi and I mapped it, and I categorized the stakeholders by their type with the color. So green is news outlets and civil media, purple is research and educational institutions, green is technology vendors and manufacturers, red is elected officials, orange is regulatory and oversight committees, yellow is legal entities, the light blue is the actual municipal departments of the city of Seattle, and dark blue is other governmental agencies outside of the city of Seattle. So they could be, state or federal governmental agencies. So basically, a couple things to look at here. The edge weight is the amount of times a given uh, a set of two stakeholders are mentioning each other in different documents. So the thicker the line, the more times they mention each other in different documents. The size of the node is the betweenness centrality of the node, so how many times other nodes are using it as a bridge to the rest of the network. Um, and yeah, pretty much just analyzing a couple trends here, we can see that right here through the thick lines between these blue nodes, you can see that there's a very strong intergovernmental network between the municipal departments and the other state and federal agencies. So that was interesting to see that there's actually a lot of collaboration there between those stakeholders, or maybe not collaboration, but they mention each other in policy a lot. You can also see there's very strong connections to the research institutions here via these thick lines. Um, Looking at the edge weight, you can see that the University of Washington actually has a really strong relationship with Seattle IT. So clearly there's a lot of research being done at the University of Washington being passed to Seattle IT for deployment into the public sector, which they are then connected with the rest of basically everyone here in the network. These thick lines here in this area, this cluster, actually represent a very strong relationship between policing and like law, and this is actually formed due to the amount of policies I found on automatic license plate readers. So that's why there's a lot of collaboration there between like the federal government and the Seattle Police Department, etc. Obviously, the Seattle Department of Transportation has a very big between-us centrality, and that is because there are lots of external stakeholders working on and being cited as references for autonomous vehicles in the Seattle area, and they are not necessarily connected with the rest of the network directly. However, they are referenced to Seattle Department of Transportation, who is then connected with the other nodes in the network. So that's why they kind of exist in that big sphere there. Looking at the average degree of the network, you can see that while it is slightly right skewed, there is a major cluster of betweenness degree here in like the 20 to 40 range, with the average degree being 31. So that kind of shows that even though, certain nodes might not be connected to every single node in the network, there is still a general pretty large amount of references being made to the nodes themselves. So they're still connected with a good portion of the network on average between each other. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to show here. So thank you very much for listening.